Griffintown 10 years ago, or 8 years ago, or even 6 years ago was just loaded with buildings, not necessarily as architecturally interesting or as old as this, but with lots of them. Most of them were red brick buildings. Most of them were in use up until the 1990s, one way or another, or reuse, one way or another. And a developer comes along and decides that this is a opportunity to make a lot of money, I guess. And they negotiate with whatever the powers be at City Hall, downtown, and they get everything rezoned for their needs. And they start with plans. They never carried through with their plans because of the bank defaults in 2008. Griffintown could have been a Brooklyn, or they have a beautiful warehouse district in New Orleans. A lot of Amsterdam has districts like this. Just reusing older buildings for social purposes, and I consider this social because you get 2,500 people in here on a music night. They're dancing, they're having fun, they're living, and they're living in their city, and it brings in, besides that, it brings in tourists and musicians. From a space like this brings in musicians from all over the world, and this whole area could have been places like this. It could have been little cafes and little restaurants of all kinds of privately run, ethnic type of place. The universities could have moved some of their more interesting faculties to places like this because the spaces were inexpensive, and they were still solid, and they didn't require the $30 or $40 million that it requires to build a big building. They only needed $1 million or $600,000 or something like that to fix, so the rents could have stayed low.